The difference between a coach or consultant that's only making 10K per month compared to one that's making 100K per month is really only two things. First, it's your ability to actually generate qualified meetings in your calendar at scale. Second, it's your ability to actually automate and delegate everything in your business so that you can actually free up time as a CEO to do other things. But the problem that I've seen with the vast majority of business owners is that they can't really do either of these. They usually have a very unreliable lead generating system that just does not scale, and they usually haven't delegated or automated the majority of things in their business, so they're still doing everything on their own. That means you're working like 60, 70, 80 hours a week just to get by. This is a recipe for disaster, but there's actually a solution to both of these problems that'll massively help, and that solution is having an appointment setter in your business. Case in point, before I hired my first setter, I was struggling with these exact same issues. I couldn't generate enough leads, and at that stage in my company, I was doing around $25,000 per month. As soon as I hired my setter, I pretty much doubled my monthly revenue, and then I was also able to free up like 30 hours a week because I've delegated it. So let me show exactly how this is possible. All right, so let's go into a couple ways that setters can help you generate more sales calls. First way is by just helping you with your outbound outreach. We've talked about outbound outreach a ton on my channel, and we all know that you can only really generate results from it if you have enough volume. So with setters combined with automation tools, you're going to be able to send out 50, 100, even 200 plus messages every single day. And you could do so on LinkedIn, as you can see in front of me right now, but you can also do this on Instagram, you can do this on Twitter, you can do this on Facebook. All of these channels give you the ability to find your ideal prospect and send them a message in order to try to book a call. But where setters come in is that a good setter has the ability to actually have a real conversation with the prospect, figure out their needs, figure out their goals, figure out what their biggest problems are, and potentially pitch them a call if it makes sense. Because I've met a lot of people who just do a pure cold outreach, and even from the first message, they're already trying to pitch, hey, jump on a call with me, jump on a call with me. The reality is no one is going to want to jump on a call with you if they don't trust you yet. And if you want them to trust you, you either have to have a bit more of a back and forth conversation where you ask questions and you maybe provide a little bit of value in the conversation itself, or you even send them content in your DMs to show them that you actually have value to add and that maybe their problems, you already have videos and other content that can help them overcome that problem. So here's an example, right, with Leora. We're not just trying to pitch it right away. We're asking a couple questions. We're figuring out who she's going after, her biggest pain points. Eventually, my setter is even intelligent enough to know, okay, she is struggling with trying to find and book meetings with C-suite executives. LinkedIn might be the best way to do that. Here is a video about LinkedIn, right? So my setter is discovering, asking questions, and sending valuable content to the point where eventually she's even asking us, what do we charge, what our services are, and then we're able to book a meeting right then and there. So this is outbound, and if you have a setter who's really good doing this with enough volume, you can absolutely generate results. That being said, I think that outbound and 100% cold outreach today isn't working as effectively as it used to because people don't typically trust those who are just sending them a random message, right? So that's why these days I much prefer having people who've already seen my content. So examples of that, and I do this by the way on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, but here's an example on talking about, hey, here's how you would scale with an appointment setting team. If you want to see this 24-minute video guide, then just comment below and you can get it. And then all these people are actually commenting setter because they want the asset. So it's really great because we actually have an automation set up where anyone who comments, we can just immediately DM them with a link to a specific YouTube video that we've actually created about this topic. But then the setter can also have a little bit of a back and forth conversation with them to see, hey, what is your issue? What are you trying to achieve? And here's an example, right? Brett actually opted into that specific piece of content. We sent it to him automatically. And then he's pretty much here saying, hey, we're actually looking for a quality setter right now, interested in hopping on a call. And then my setter is actually going to be the one who has the back and forth conversation with them, asking any additional questions if need be. And we do this once again on every single channel. On Facebook as well, we share a ton of content and we have these exact same posts. And yeah, sometimes they go kind of viral and everyone wants access to the post. And then our setter has a much easier time having these conversations and booking calls. So when you think about this, the combination of all these in inbound conversations from our content and outbound messages going out to cold prospects, you can imagine there are hundreds of conversations that are happening every single day. So this obviously works to generate meetings, but the issue is that it takes a lot of time. And that's once again why we're delegating this. If you were to try to do this all on your own, there's no way you'd actually be able to spend any time building your business as a CEO. You wouldn't have the energy to work on your product or hire team members. Having this fully delegated so that these hundreds of conversations are managed by someone who's full-time in sales is going to ultimately be beneficial for your business. In case in point, you can actually look at my tracking sheet because obviously we're really numbers driven. We look at all the data, all the metrics, and we see that every single week our setters are booking 10 to 15 meetings consistently. Part of that is because we have conversation trees and conversation script. We have tracking sheets. We have SOPs and systems so that they can do the follow-up appropriately. So when all of this is a machine and everything kind of works together, then that's when you can actually generate significantly more calls. You can do so even if you're not actively working yourself. Maybe you're on vacation, maybe you're taking a bit of a break, but you're still able to make sure that week in, week out, your team is generating tons of sales calls for you. So let's do some basic math, right? If you're a business owner, whether that be a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you have a high ticket offer, we can actually just look at the numbers right now to see how much you might be able to generate in terms of profit and ROI if you had a setter on board. So first off, let's make a couple assumptions. Let's say that your average customer LTV is $5,000. And maybe that's a pay up front, right? Now, I know a lot of you probably have more expensive offers. Maybe you're selling a 10K, 15K, 25K LTV offer. If you are in that situation, then even better, because that means you're probably gonna generate even more of a profit. Now, if you're selling a really low ticket item, setters probably don't make sense. You're typically gonna wanna have a higher priced offering if you want a setter to financially make sense for you. Now, let's say that your offer is $5,000 and then you're winning 25% of those deals. Now, let's say a setter is able to generate 10 meetings per week for your business, which by the way is not that much. If you remember, my setters are generating on average 10 to 15, and this could scale up if you have multiple setters, which I do. But at 10 meetings per week, that makes 40 meetings booked by your setters per month. And if we say that around 70% of those meetings actually show up and are qualified, that means you'll have 28 meetings that are qualified pipeline. You'll win around 25% of those, and at $5,000 each, that means you're bringing in an extra $35,000 to your business. Now, a setter might only really cost you $2,000 per month in terms of payroll and expenses, right? That means for the $2,000 that you're spending on the payroll of a full-time appointment setter, they're generating you $35,000 in sales. That's a 17.5 return, right? That's pretty amazing. Now, let's be a bit more conservative. Let's say that your setter is just starting out, or maybe you're in a bit more of a competitive and difficult industry. And once again, only 70% even show up to the meeting in the first place and are qualified. In this scenario, you're only gonna be able to generate an extra $20,000. But once again, even at $20,000 of additional revenue coming from a much lower amount of total calls booked, you're still able to generate more than a 10x return on investment. Anyone who's running ads would kill to have a 10x return on ad spend, right? So the fact that you can generate 10x plus return on your setter, even on the low end, is pretty amazing. And this is exactly what I've been able to help my clients achieve as well, because a big part of how I help my clients is by attaching really effective and profitable appointment setting machines into their business. For example, Fernando here hit 100K per month. He has a sales team. Christopher as well, we helped him scale to 100K per month, just the same. He also was placed a setter by our business. Ria, $91,000 a month. Same thing, we placed a setter in her organization. So I'm not gonna make you see through every single one of these examples, there's a lot, but the idea is if you are a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you wanna continue scaling your business, and you wanna be able to generate more calls while also making sure that your entire business is running on autopilot, then clearly these are some of the strategies that you need to deploy. So if you are curious about how we can help, then book a call with me below. But if you're not necessarily ready for that, then that's cool too, right? Follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on Instagram, start a conversation with me, and we'll be able to help you out and fix some of the issues that you're going through right now in your business. So I appreciate that you hung out with me today. If you're curious to see more of my content, just check out some of these recommended assets right here. And with that being said, I'll see you next time. Cheers.